Good evening, everybody. Tough loss. Our calling card is how hard we play. That's obviously, that was out for display today. Execution was not at a high level. It was a mixed bag for us. UCLA's level of execution was better than ours. They did what they did. And we missed some tackles. You know, we left some guys open. You know, we got beat in man coverage. And then for a while on defense, we played really stout. Played really stout. And then couldn't stop them at the end. Offensively, just a terrible start. Absolute terrible start. It's inexcusable. Just throw it on me. It's my fault. We did not start well. That's my job. Did not start well. I'm not going to rattle off what we did wrong because it was pretty obvious. Didn't run it, didn't throw it, penalties, inexcusable. Once we settled down, pretty doggone good. Pretty good. When we got our protection and we did our jobs, you see how explosive we can be. You see how many guys that that can make plays for us. A lot of guys that can make plays for us. But if we don't hit our landmarks up front, it's hard to run the ball. You know, we don't block the guys we're supposed to block, it's hard to run the ball. We miss a couple pass protection identifications. You know, quarterback's running for his life. We had some guys that could make some plays for us, but we need the time. Am I encouraged? Absolutely. Am I upset? Absolutely. Because we can play much better than we played today. Played against a team that was very serious in what they were doing and executed at a high level. We were about 50-50. When we executed, all three phases were really, really good. When we did not, we got outplayed, collectively, individually, made it tough. This team is capable of much better than we showed today. That's a good UCLA football team, but we're also a good Stanford team. The goal is to play much better than we played. Questions? Yeah, Bryce had a really good offseason. We've picked up some spots for him during the course of the year. He's played, I don't know, between 5 to 10 plays a game, you know, with the guys that we've had. The other guys have played really well. We put him in some positions. You know, we had a big pass to him last week, got deflected. But we knew at some point he was going to make his presence felt. And today, especially with a couple of guys getting banged up, Elijah was out for a little bit, Bryson Tremaine was out for a little bit, and we put Bryce out there, and he made some plays. You see that speed. He can really, really go. We've been working on that screen with him for the last couple of weeks, trying to perfect it. Got it really down, and he knew what to do. The lineman knew what to do, and that was a big, big thing for us. We had to have somebody make a play. We put him in position for him to make a play. And then later, Tanner did a great job of avoiding somebody and moving, sliding, buying a little bit more time. And you saw Bryce. He got that ball, and he can really go. So, you know, add him to the list of guys that we have that can make plays for us. I'm still encouraged about what we have up front. You know, this was a tough matchup. UCLA blitzes more than anybody we will play all year. A lot of different looks. Internal pressures, weak side pressures, strong side pressures, corner pressures, safety pressures, cover zero pressures, more than anybody will play. And when we got them up front, we made big plays. When we didn't, we didn't. So it's a tough matchup. I wish we could have made some more plays and made the game a little bit more interesting, but we fought back to get it tied. You know, and we let a guy go long distance on us. There's a lot of encouraging things out there, but we can play at a much higher level.
In the fourth quarter with 9 minutes to go, you faced a 4th and 2 on the 30-yard line. Can you talk about the thought process behind whether or not to go for it or kick a field goal?
Yeah, the decision was to go for it or kick a field goal. You go for it, and you don't get it, then you give him great field position. Our field goal kicker got a lot of confidence in him, put him out there, and he made it. It wasn't 3 minutes to go. Just like you said, it was 9 minutes to go. There's a lot of football left. kicked the field goal. We made it a one-score game. We're kicking off with a one-score game with 9 minutes to go in the game. It's not even a question for me. Take all the analytics you want. The analytics don't matter. Football matters. One-score game with 9 minutes to go, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I noticed you guys were able to get some pressure on the quarterback in some situations. Thomas Booker got a sack. What do you guys need to do to make that a more consistent part of your defense?
Well, with this team, getting pressure on the quarterback and getting the quarterback down are two different things. We were able to get him down a couple times, but a couple times we got pressure on him, and he got out. He's the most athletic quarterback in our conference, one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the nation, right? He's really fast, and we were in his face a couple of times, and he got out of trouble. The biggest issue is we were not able to stop the run with any consistency. When we did, we got him to 3rd and long, we got off the field. But a team like this, you let them play in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 3 during the course of the game, it's really, really tough. Talking to Coach Anderson before the game, you look at all the statistics and tendencies, and pretty much every tendency they have situationally outside of 3rd and long is to run the ball. Right? They ran the ball repeatedly over and over and over again. Now, when they threw it, we did a decent job. We didn't do great, we did a decent job. We let one big one get out, and that one really hurt.
And then just as an extension of that, how nice was it for Thomas Booker to see Thomas Booker get his first sack of the year and kind of get him going a little bit in that department?
That was great. Thomas has been working really hard all year. He really has. He's forced some holding calls, guys trying to drag him down. But, he was able to get through there today. Got close again, besides that. Great to see him get that sack, and I think there are more to come. I think our guys really played hard. They really played hard. We got to make more opportunities for ourselves.
Hi, David. Tanner seemed out of rhythm early, I guess to say the least. I think you guys didn't get a first down until midway through the second quarter. Do you think it was just playing at home, like being too amped up at home, or just getting different looks, or what do you think went into that? And then how was he able to kind of overcome that? Because obviously he finished really strong.
Yeah, it wasn't just Tanner early on. There were multiple mishaps early on. It's obvious when you play quarterback. Through the first 2 passes were thrown really high and really tough to catch, like 2 out of the first 3. So he settled down. We made some mistakes up front. We made some mistakes at different positions, and then we settled down. The problem is we settled down and we were behind. So we're playing catch-up most of the game. Now, with the guys that we have, we can play catch-up, and we caught up. So that's encouraging as a coach that no matter what the score is, we can come back. But then once we come back, now we got to play them even, and don't give up big plays, and don't shoot ourselves in the foot. And we did both after we got the score tied.
Your initial thoughts on Gilman and what he was able to do out there today?
Yeah, Alakai is a very, very good football player. He ain't the biggest guy, but he plays big. And he's got a great feel. He's got a great knack. Throughout spring football, it just seemed he was always around it, deflecting passes, making tackles for loss. It was great to see him out there. He got healthy for us right at the right time because we needed him. Same thing with Nicholas Toomer. It's been a hard road for Nicholas. It looked like he was so good in training camp last year before he got hurt and missed the entire year. Had a really difficult offseason trying to get healthy, worked really hard, did everything that was asked of him, had a couple of setbacks, but worked really hard to get back out there and go out there and play. And both those guys showed up at the right time. We needed them to come play, and they both played well.
I'm just wondering, how difficult was it with your backfield situation today? And then a couple I know UCLA went for it early, 4th and 2 in their own territory and got it and scored a touchdown. You guys had 2 situations like that where you punted. Did the running back situation play a role, or is that just your philosophy to punt in those situations?
It was what it was. I mean, that doesn't go in the stat book. Nobody gives you any credit for not having, all your guys healthy. But then especially when we lost Isaiah Sanders, he was not able to come back. So we lost our running quarterback as well, which made a lot of those third down and short things kind of different for us because we had a plan with him. We have other plays, of course, that we went to. But that was tough. Not having the other guys and then not having Isaiah. But once again, it doesn't go in the book. We have enough guys to play with out there. And Nate Pete ran hard. He ran hard. He still broke tackles. He had to account for too many guys. 3 times off the top of my head, he got the ball and there was somebody in the backfield. That's not Nate's fault. But when he had a lane and he got a crease, then he got through there. And he's been a big play guy for us, which is great. But if you really watch Nate, he gets a lot of tough yards too. He runs through contact, he drags guys, he gets positive yards after contact. But too many times today, he got the ball and he had to deal with somebody in the backfield.
And then quickly, do you have any update? Do you expect any of the people who are out this week to be back for Oregon, especially the running backs?
Excuse me? We expect Austin and Casey Filkins to be back, and we'll see for sure by midweek as we get to later in the week. EJ will probably be another week, maybe 2, but we expect Austin and Casey hopefully to be back for Oregon. There are multiple things. First of all, it starts with their head coach. Chip does a great job. He's always done a great job against us. A lot of little wrinkles in there, different ways they pull guys, different ways they down block. They're dedicated to the running game. They make subtle adjustments. You have to account for the quarterback on every single play. So it's not that you can ever overload one side because they can always get back and hurt you the other way. So that's where it starts. And the bottom line is when you do have guys there, now you got to bring guys down, right? And they got 2 big runners that drag tacklers and drag people for positive yards. Like I said early on, if you can run the ball like they were able to and play the game in 2nd and 5 or less, that's a tough one. It's a tough one.
Thanks, guys. I was just kind of curious what changed for the offense. That a lot, you guys, stalled initially, but then there were moments where you guys got back going, offense clicked. What kind of shifted and changed and accounted for that sudden switch offensively?
It's a couple things. The biggest thing was we're able to pass protect. Like early on, there's all their blitzes, all their movement, and the quarterback didn't have a chance to set his feet. A little bit later when we got the pass protection, and even if it was leaky, we see what kind of an athlete Tanner is. He can still slide. As long as we're engaged on guys up front, he can still slide and make some throws. And he made a couple big-time throws on the move. I don't know if you noticed them. A couple of these are NFL throws. That throw he made to Bryce Farrell was an NFL throw. That's a big-time throw, right? Half the guys in the league can make that throw. So that's a big thing. Pass protection, it's tough. And once again, we played against this UCLA team that blitzes more than anybody will play all year. And it's the variety of blitzes. And you have to recognize it as one of our big keys through the entire week. We have to recognize it and then execute our pass pro. Early on, we didn't. And after we did and we settled down, we did a good job. And if we can pass protect, and with the quarterback and receivers and tight ends that we have, we get a chance to do some special things.
Thank you, Coach. We'll be joined next by senior defensive end Thomas Booker.
Thanks, everyone.
We'll go straight to questions with Thomas, so go ahead and raise your hand and say we'll give you the microphone. First question in the back to Ben Parker.
Hope you can hear me. I asked Coach the same question. I'll ask it to you. Just how nice was it for you to get that first sack of the year and kind of get your juices going in that department?
Yeah, defense is one of those things where there's so much about scheme, and everybody has to do their assignment, their job. And sometimes that results in you getting a lot of different plays. You having a lot of TFLs, you having a lot of sacks, a lot of kind of stat sheet production, and sometimes it ends up having you set up for other guys. So for me, I was fortunate enough that my teammates, made plays enough to set me up for that one. So it was great, getting that in the stat sheet. But, the way our defense goes is that, that stuff can kind of come in bunches, or sometimes you're doing the dirty work and washing the dishes, So you got to be satisfied to do both of those, in order to win the game. So yeah, it was great to get in that, but obviously it's partly because of my teammates.
In the first half, UCLA went for a 4th down on their own end of the field in kind of a hurry-up situation. Is that something that's difficult to kind of uniquely prepare for when playing a Chip Kelly team?
Honestly, I mean, they have a lot of different things that they do really well on offense. And you start feeling the game when you're playing defense enough, just feeling the offensive linemen, their stances, feeling the tempo. And I think that we all knew that they were going to try to go for it after that one. You know, after they were tackled, everybody rushed the line. So, yeah, defense is all about adjustment. Football in general is all about adjustment. So that's what we tried to do on that one, but unfortunately we couldn't get it done and stop them on that 4th down. But, yeah, you know, game of adjustment, you got to come and innovate. And you know, they do a really good job running the ball. They have a lot of different schemes, a lot of different pin and pull things that they do. So I think when we're settled down and calm and filling those gaps, and you know, defensive linemen, we aren't getting nosy, trying to do too much. You know, ILBs are being patient, not going too fast, not going too slow. Then I think we can really execute well and get them off the field pretty quickly. You know, but sometimes, you know, they have so many different concepts that when you're not having eye discipline, you know, when you're not controlling your eyes, doing the right thing all the time, then they'll punish you for it. You know, that's, you know, when you have a really good offensive coordinator, that's what they can do. So, yeah, I think that was kind of the tale today. When we were locked in, on our keys, not trying to do too much and not doing too little, then, you know, we can get them off the field pretty quickly.
What's the mood like with the team right now? Obviously, it's not going to get any easier next week with Oregon coming in.
Yeah, so, I mean, the way we look at it is we hate losing, right? Point blank, period. We hate losing. You don't come to play college football, you're not an athlete at this level if you feel neutral or you like this feeling, right? But the whole point of it is that you have to do something with, you know, the negative emotions that you're feeling and the anger that you feel about this. So that's how the team feels right now. You know, obviously don't feel good about losing our first home game in a good amount of time, but at the same point, you know, you got to let that fuel your preparation, you know. So feel sick about it, but do something about it. That's kind of how we are right now.
Anything else for Thomas? All right, thank you, Thomas.
Thank you so much.
We'll be joined lastly by quarterback Tanner Key. Questions for Tanner? We'll start with Troy Clardy in the front. Go ahead, Troy.
Tanner, take us through the 2 touchdowns in the second half, as you remember them.
Yeah, so the 2 touchdowns, Coach said we're going to take a shot. If he's open, take it. They were running a lot of different coverages, a lot of different disguises, and so with how they disguised, we knew that there was going to be an opening, and we tried to take advantage of it.
It was a rough start for the offense and I guess for everyone. But I guess what do you think was going on this first quarter and a half, and then how are you kind of able to compensate and overcome that?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just off to a slow start. Had a couple misassignments, miscommunications, a couple missed throws by me, and so we just have to come out better, come out with a little more juice, a little fired up, I would say more mental, just to know our assignments, because they didn't show anything that we weren't expecting or didn't know from practice. We just needed to identify it better and pick up the defense. I think we just kind of settled down. We had a lot of times where we had a false start, or a guy jumping off sides, or things like that. Once we settled down and realized that, yeah, the defenses are funky, but we've seen them in practice all week, that we were going to be all right, and we were able to take advantage. And once we picked up those initial rush, there were holes downfield that we took advantage of a few times.
Can you talk about the touchdown to Elijah Higgins, 51-yard touchdown? Just kind of what did you see on that play? Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, so all game they were doing a really good job of protecting the perimeter, running cloud coverages, kind of high-lowing our outside guys to have a flat defender and then a deep defender as well. And so we knew that the middle was going to be vulnerable. Elijah ran a great route, took a great angle. They ran a cut coverage where the safety came across the field, and then he had to turn back around and run. He almost had to turn a complete 360 and run back in a different direction than Elijah was running. So Elijah did a great job, and it was a good timing play. Yeah, so the first question, obviously, they are great players. They're going to make a really big difference, so we are super excited for them to be back in the special teams game, offensively, really everything. That's a 1-2 punch that we missed, definitely. I mean, it felt great coming back here. Obviously, losing is unacceptable, but being back and seeing the crowd and everyone into the game, the band and everything like that, it was a lot of fun to kind of be back in our home stadium because it's been a really long time, especially with fans. And so it was really great to be back. Thank you.